back.
Yay. One of my favorite days to get together and get to have these big conversations with you, Abigail.
Yes, absolutely. We were just talking about that. It doesn't feel like work that we have to do. It's like it brightens our days when we get to come together and talk about yummy, deep topics. It's
Yeah,
just like, oh, yes.
absolutely. And we already get started before we even hit record. And then we're like, wait a minute, hold on. We gotta let's get
Yeah.
started. And so I'm super excited today to be digging into justice and the hangman.
Oh, before we do that, if for some reason this is your first time landing on this episode, my name is Abigail Mensah-Bonsu, and this is
I'm Nicolette Halladay.
and we came together to share with you how to powerfully work with your archetypes through the tarot.
Yeah,
That's like
and
the best way to
it,
say it.
absolutely. And inside this series, you're just going to have a lot of deep conversations about themes that come up for all of us, regardless of if you've ever picked up a tarot deck or
Yeah.
just beginning or are familiar with it. These conversations are real big themes that tend to circle all of us. And
Absolutely.
so the thing that I love about tarot is it shines a light on these aspects and gives us an opportunity to really illuminate them. And so
Yes.
that's what we've been doing with the series. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, make sure to go back and check out each week we feature one or two of the major arcana right now series of the tarot,
Yes.
and just digging into the themes and our own stories and experiences with working with these different archetypes and
Yeah.
bringing you these conversations because these are the conversations that all of us are having or want to have or
Yeah.
struggling with quietly. And so this is a safe space to really dig in.
Yeah. And this is not a journey where you're learning about like the surfacey of what the tarot is like, oh, the magician is just this and that. This is a journey back to yourself, and we really talk and emphasize that these tarots are just reflecting who you are. We're bringing it in, so whether you like tarot or not, you will still get something yummy from this series.
Yeah,
So welcome,
absolutely.
we're glad you're here.
Yes, absolutely. And like I said, these are all themes that all of us are experiencing at different times in our lives. And if you want the high level overview, you can Google or chat GPT the meaning of these cards if you're wanting to go a little deep, if you're wanting to get that surface level.
Yes.
But what we want to encourage you is really digging into your connection with these different archetypes. How are they showing up in your life? How are they guiding you? What is the reflection? And we share our own as an example of how
Yes.
that can work for you too.
Yeah. All right. So today we are diving into the mystery of justice and the hangman. And it's funny because our conversation before we started recording, the justice card kept popping in like
Yeah.
everywhere. I was like, oh,
Justice,
that's what
I think I
yeah.
said justice twice, and you're like, wait a
Yeah.
minute.
I was
And
like,
then
that's
we
what
hadn't
we're
even
talking
got
about.
started, and we weren't even talking about like teeing this up where I was talking about something
Yep.
completely unrelated. So I'm sure some of that will flow in.
Trickle in.
It's so funny how sometimes
Yeah.
that will happen.
Yeah.
If you are pulling one of these cards or you're working with one of these cards, you start to see it
Yeah.
kind of show up in different ways. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
It's fascinating. So let's start with the justice card. So actually go ahead and pull if you have a tarot deck, go ahead and pull your justice and your hangman cards and put it right in front of you. Yes. And then let's just do a centering meditation. Would you like to walk us through one, my dear?
Oh, yes, I do.
Just to like help us
Yeah,
call our energy into the moment and
mm,
just be open to the mystery of what these archetypes want to teach us today so we can receive it.
absolutely. Let's set the tone. If you're in a place where you can settle in and close your eyes, Obviously, if you're driving or doing something that it's not safe to close your eyes, come back to this. But if you're ready, go ahead and settle into your chair and close your eyes. And you're just going to feel the breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And then it's just moving into a really calm rhythm of your breath. It's not effort, it's natural. And as you're sitting, you're going to feel the gravity of your body in the chair or the floor or whatever is sitting next to you. You're going to feel the weight of your body. And your breath is easy. And I want you to imagine the justice. And what does justice feel like in your body? You might see an image that represents justice. It might be a feeling. What does justice say to you? What does it mean to be just? I really want you to anchor into the feeling of justice. And as you're anchoring into the feeling of justice, it's starting to echo further and further and further outside of you. It's like a bubble that continues to grow with your breath, encapsulating everything that it touches. And every time it grows, it's emanating that feeling of justice around the people and the places and the things. And they're feeling justice too. Take a deep breath and pull that bubble closer into your body so that it's a very tight bubble around you. And all of the things and people that experience justice is now magnified in the energy that's inside you. And take another deep breath. And now I want you to surrender to the feeling of the hangman. The hangman is here to show you a new perspective. It's here to request that you surrender to the timing of things. It's not a stall or a hesitation, but a surrender. As you're seeing and feeling the hangman, consider what in your life do you need to look at from a new perspective. Where in your life is asking you to revisit from a different angle? take note of that to reflect on at a later time. Come back to your center, into this now moment. Connect back to your breath, the ease of your breath. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Thank you. Thank you. That was delicious. It's interesting some of the imageries that came in and also the connections. Um, yeah, that was really interesting. I'm excited to talk about them.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Well done.
Okay, so let's start with justice.
Yes. So I love the depiction on your card because
Hmm.
yeah, mine, yeah,
Yeah,
mine
that's the
is
first thing that we always want to encourage everyone to do. Oh,
see, yeah,
yeah, yours has a little different color. There's a little shine to it.
there we go.
Okay. Yeah. Every tarot card has a different image. So if you're new to tarot, the archetype is represented, and a lot of times there's some similarities. But what we always want you to do is just look at the card that we're talking about today and notice any imagery that's standing out to you. If there's something specific, you might want to kind of hone in on it. When I look at justice, the two things that come through for me is the scales, which I'm excited to talk about the scales of justice, and the sword.
Yeah, and that's funny. Yeah, that's one of the ones that stood out to me too. And actually where they're situated, the
Hmm.
positioning of it, I find it very fascinating. And also it immediately reminds me of another major arcana card, another archetype, the high priestess.
Right, it has the pillars again.
Yep. Yeah. And then the background, like, I mean, this one is definitely masculine,
Yeah.
so that red, it's a lot of red. And then you have the yellow and the pillars, the gray, but the red, and then you have the
You,
green too.
and mine has the purple in the back.
Oh,
It's like the
yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that brings in a little bit more of that intuitive kind
The
of inner
spiritual nature
knowing.
of it. Yeah. Because
Um,
the sword pointing out, like up, the sword, we know that, well, we haven't talked about it here, but that's going to be something we talk about. The swords connect to our mind, it connects to our mental body, it connects to our higher mind as well. Um, did I miss one? I feel like there's one more. No, I think that's about it.
the sword.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. The mind.
I feel like this, if it comes in, I'll share. But I
Okay.
love that the mind is pointing upward because it's telling us a lot. If we're talking about, for me, justice usually it reminds me of balance.
Yeah, and that's the scales.
Yeah. And, like, because I can go into there's balance and truth, but the
Yeah.
balance always stands out because it's like we need to find the balance in all the truth. There's not like in the meditation, this came in. It was like there's no one truth. All truths lead to the supreme truth. And I was like,
Mhm.
that's interesting because we all have our own truth, which is part of our experience. And I think in this day and age, we're so stuck on, oh, my truth is right and yours is not. And we've seen that on a bigger scale and a smaller scale.
Oh my
But
gosh.
what
It
if we
creates so much
expand it?
division and so much
Yeah.
judgment,
Yes.
ironically. Uh,
Yes.
yeah, I think there's the one of the themes that always I feel very connected to judgment is kind of the karmic just judgment.
Mm.
And it's deeper than a belief
Yeah.
or a perspective or an opinion. even a belief, which is such a big part of our identity, right?
Yep.
And it is an important part of our identity for every single one of us.
Yeah.
But there is an undercurrent of truth that, regardless of our beliefs, regardless of our experience, you just can't avoid the undercurrent of the truth of what
Yeah.
things are. You can try, and you can try to avoid it, and you can try to escape it, but ultimately you'll always be confronted with it over and
The
over again.
truth always comes out. Yeah.
One of the things that I noticed right away is how, like, the sword looks heavy, but it's not heavy for him. Like, he's
Yeah.
holding it.
He's
And
wielding it.
he's
Yeah.
wielding it, but it's just like, I can imagine how heavy that sword would be, but he's just sitting there with it in his hand, and there's
Oh,
a gravity to it.
yeah. Oh, I like that.
And then even the scales, which probably also would have some weight, there's
Yeah.
also just there's a balance in it.
Exactly. Yeah. Interesting. Because
So
even
there's a
looking
lot
at
of
the,
symbolism in
yeah.
this card. So I would love to hear from our audience what is jumping out to them. Another thing I notice is this green
Yes.
kind of, he has the kind of like the cape, but he
The
also has
thin.
the green. And
Yeah.
mine almost look like snakes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, mine too.
Yeah. So
Mine
that's kind
too.
of interesting. I don't know what that
That
means.
is fascinating.
Yeah, so this is just an invitation for whoever's listening to really dig into kind of what is jumping out to you, because, like, look at us. We have worked, Abigail's worked with the tarot for over a decade, and there's still things that are going to resonate today that
Exactly.
maybe wouldn't have previously. Um,
Absolutely.
and so take some time to really connect. To me, I'm really connecting with the weight of it, the weight of the
Yeah.
sword, the weight of the balance, even the weight of the crown. Um,
Yes.
it feels,
Interesting.
yeah. So anyways, some of the themes of judgment. Of course, one one of the things of judgment that I think about is the reckoning. And I kind
Mm,
of alluded to it earlier. I think sometimes the biggest way to avoid the truth is by deceiving ourselves.
mm,
And that is the truth. Reckoning with that truth is the most important truth in a way, because when you are deceiving yourself, you are never going to be able to get that weighted groundedness.
yeah.
And you're going to feel the shadows of it, and you're going to feel haunted by it.
Yeah.
And so, if there's something that you haven't made amends with within yourself, something that maybe you need to make amends with someone else, this is an invitation
Yeah. Yeah.
to
Fascinating.
really make,
So,
yeah.
in the imagery that you walked us through so beautifully, with the justice, so there's a show, it's called Haven. It's like a sci-fi show.
Hmm.
It's basically the gist of it is a town where people in there, it's like this on this island, and people on who live there, some of them have magical powers, and it's the learning to live with it. It tends to be triggered by something, but one of the characters, her power awakened the justice symbol, which was an art, and it was a she. She kind of reminded me. She was a goddess, like that's how she was depicted. She reminded me of Athena, and that's the name that came through. And I'm not sure why it's connected to
Oh,
Athena,
okay.
but it also brought in, like the image of the Lady Liberty. Like that's kind of like how she helped, but she
Sure.
had the sword,
Okay. Oh,
definitely, and the way she would manifest out of the picture, and whoever did her wrong, she would go and like what do you say, like balance whatever that is. So if someone stole her purse, she would go and, exert vengeance on that. And that's how she was balancing
Oh,
things.
the karmic kind of
Yeah, it was very
karmic
interesting.
scales.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it
the
makes me want to check
feeling,
it out.
yeah, it's called Haven. And the feeling that I got from it, because it was very, like it was just it wasn't good or bad. It was just like neutral. She was
Hmm.
operating from a neutral place. And even
It keeps the energy
yeah,
balanced.
that fascinated me because I couldn't find myself to be like, oh, she's doing good or oh, she's doing bad. I just found myself like in this center neutral place, like it is what it is. Like
Hmm.
it just simply is what it is. And I found that to be very fascinating. And like looking at the card,
Mhm.
yeah. Looking at the card, like immediately, if you look at the red, it's all in the center. Like your card, I think you have the purple there too, but most of that color is in the center. And then you have the pillars holding that in place. And again, it's like bringing all that, the awareness or my awareness to balance. Like balance is the core of it. Like there's a lot of energy there
That's
too, but balance, yeah.
one thing I anytime that I've kind of worked with the justice card,
Yes.
um, it has been about balancing the karmic scales.
Yes.
And sometimes that means, making amends, like I mentioned before, or kind of coming to our own truth, understanding. Sometimes it means showing a lot of grace.
Yes.
Sometimes, like when we think about energy, and sometimes we feel like things are really heavy
Yeah.
and like unfair. There's an undercurrent of justice throughout all of it. And I think kind of going back to last week's the Wheel of Fortune,
Yes.
even if it doesn't mean it's always swift or instant, but it always promises justice. And so if you feel like someone has betrayed you or done something against you, or you have a major, like you feel like there's been an injustice,
Injustice. Yeah.
to me, there is it's really comforting to know that there will be a karmic balance of it.
There has to be. That's how the universe keeps everything in balance and in check. And I love that you brought in the wheel because that's kind of like how I see it. What goes up goes down. What goes down goes up. I want to share this story. So at a very young age, I decided because through my experience, I realized that whether I lie or tell the truth, I still got punished anyways. But I
Mm.
chose to just speak the truth regardless. And then as I was growing up, like this was like way later, I realized that for me, so right now, for me, I don't even have the luxury of playing April Fool jokes. Because do you know what happens when I do?
You were telling me, but tell the
It
audience.
happens immediately to balance. Karma for me balances itself immediately. And I was like, wow, what an arrangement to make. So here's one of the examples that I shared with Nicolette. This was like I was working and me and my coworkers decided to play a prank on my manager. And like we love each other. Like
Yeah,
it was a
sure.
perfect team. And it was April Fool. So we all decided that we're all going to call in one at a time and say we're not coming in because something.
Sure.
Everybody did theirs beautifully. They all showed up. They're like, ha ha. My joke, I was like, oh, I can't come in because someone hit my car. And so, yeah, I can't come in because it's a mess. On the way to work, I'm driving. So I had a white, I think it was a Toyota, I think Toyota Corolla. Was that the Corolla? Something like that. But I'm driving, and out of nowhere, this car comes and just like T-bone me. So here's the thing. I get out of the car and I look. I was like, huh, that's exactly my car. Like same color, same make, everything. On top of it, Do you want to know the name of the driver? Abigail. That was her name.
Wow.
Same car, same name. I mean, we're literally looking at each other like, what the hell just happened? And
Wow.
the whole thing, everything was like solved beautifully. Her
It all
dad
worked
like
out.
called and it's like, I got you. We'll get it fixed. They even gave me like a, car, like they rented a car for me to use until it was all solved. But I got to work and I was like, I'm here. I'm so sorry. Someone hit me and everyone is laughing. I was like, no, seriously, someone did.
Like, yeah, right.
And
Nice
so, and so
shot.
I like took the pictures and I was like, see, they're like, oh my God, Abigail.
You must be so dialed in
I
to,
can't, I can't even lie. And I was like, my younger self back then, that decision she made, she knew there was more to that. Because that's also she could have chose to went the other way. When I lie, I get punished. When I speak the truth, I get punished. So I might as well lie. She could have easily chosen either one, but she's like, I'm just gonna tell the truth, whatever. That's
yeah,
what she chose.
do
And I
it.
was like, she knew something because if I chose the other side, this life would have been
Oh my gosh.
way more harder.
Do a lot of like weird, bad, con-
Yeah.
like
And that was like that example I gave, that was like the biggest one. That was like,
you're
Abigail,
like,
cut it out. I thought you
I
got this
see you,
already.
I hear you,
Yeah.
I see. I
Yeah.
think, I mentioned, I kind of alluded to earlier how sometimes the biggest injustice is not being honest with ourselves.
Absolutely. And
Um,
universe is like, for me, universe is like integrity is
you have
huge for
that we
you.
have
You,
already like
yeah.
integrity, energy is like high intensity. I
Yeah.
I have found this about being honest. Um, Even when, and especially when you don't feel like being
Yeah.
honest or it's going to be difficult, is the most important time to
Yeah.
be honest. And for as long as I've been really committed to being honest, no matter what, it is like freedom
Yeah.
because it is what it is.
Exactly.
And you're balancing the scales in real time that way instead of waiting for you know
After.
the universe to balance them for you,
Right? And
right?
that's usually what happens to a lot of us where, if something we did in the past life, we didn't resolve it, now we're having to, resolve it to balance those right now.
There
A
is
lot
a
of people are experiencing that.
doesn't always you will not always correlate the two.
Yes.
And so justice is really asking for our honesty,
Thank you. Beautiful.
but it's asking us to be honest
Yeah.
about what we're doing, how we're doing it, how we're experiencing it. And I do want to say this, it's like a lot of things in this world. It's like it's like a you dial it in,
Yeah.
as you practice like being honest no matter what. Because I
Yeah.
remember making this decision after my divorce, I think, and I've always been honest, like it's not
Yes.
like I had like some big problem with it, but I would catch myself in little kind of not sharing all of it because I didn't want to
Yes.
deal with all the ramifications or kind of skirting around things.
Yeah.
And I had this vision actually of the how like not rewarding, I don't know, I'm not the word isn't really, but how good it would feel to be able to just lay out all the things in the closet, all the skeletons, lay it all out and then be able to say this is what it is,
Yeah.
and that gives the other person or the other whatever you're dealing with an opportunity to then choose
Honestly choose. Yeah.
honestly, knowing all the information. And that's why being honest is so really like energetically important,
Yeah.
because if you are withholding information and they're making a choice without seeing the full, all the pieces, they're not able to make a full choice in what
Yes.
how they want to move forward. And I think here's the thing is the reason why people kind of maybe hold back some of the truth or lie or whatever is because they're trying to get out of accountability for it usually,
Mm,
right? And so there's something that they don't want to have to be accountable for.
yeah.
Otherwise, why wouldn't you just divulge all of it, right?
I mean, there also could be the aspect of fear and protection too.
Hmm.
Fear and protection,
I
you
think
know.
that's a little bit potentially different.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, because sometimes it's not safe for us to be completely.
Exactly.
It's different.
Exactly.
That's different. But considering if all things are equal,
Yeah.
you're going to be safe, you're withholding information to get out of accountability, or being dishonest to get out of accountability for it.
Yeah.
What it does is the weight of that will carry with you.
It's too heavy.
It's
It's too
really
heavy.
heavy.
I don't
And
have time for that.
and then you're carrying this weight with you, and you have to
Yeah.
start putting on masks. And
Yeah.
then you have to start putting on masks about, oh, this story or contorting this story, and before you know it, you lose touch
Hmm.
with your own source of integrity,
Exactly.
and you're so distant from it that you've lost touch with your whole self. It can
Exactly.
happen. I've seen it happen.
Yeah.
And then, for a lot of people, it's just little things, little slides. But to feel in complete integrity, I would love
Yeah.
to invite everyone to just practice being so honest, not in a mean way.
Exactly. I was gonna say there's a
There's a
distinction.
difference in saying
Yeah.
what, you don't have to
Because
always
you,
say what you think.
yeah,
That's
you hear
not
people
honest.
say, I'm just being honest when they just hurt
Or being
someone with what they
Yeah.
said. Yeah. So there's a distinction
It's
there.
not about
Yeah.
being judgmental. That's not what we're talking.
Exactly.
We're talking
Exactly.
about being accountable. So being
Yes.
honest in our accountability. I think that's kind of
Oh,
main.
and also the honesty has nothing, honestly, it has nothing to do with the other person and more to do with you because it's you feeling safe to bring your truth to the forefront. You're speaking your truth. That is the honesty we're talking about here. And the other person hopefully meets you the same way. But either way, if you're able to, this is my truth, then they can take that and make their own choice
And,
from that.
and
Yeah.
here is what I've experienced. As you can start being vulnerable with your own honest feelings,
Yeah.
like this is how I'm feeling about this, or this is what happened, or whatever it is, um, it will create this foundation for other people to feel safe in being able to
Yes.
you too. And I think, like, especially when I think of like relationship dynamics, how would the world be different
Yeah.
if we said the uncomfortable part no matter what?
Yeah.
Like, and like I said, not in a mean judge. This isn't about attacking someone else.
Exactly.
What we're talking about. We're talking about personal accountability. So I just want to be really, really clear about that.
Yeah.
I've also known people who are like, oh, well, I just, they just speak their mind and don't really
Yeah.
care about other
They
people's.
don't take accountability for what they just, yeah.
True. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's really being accountable and then in integrity. So
Yes.
that's a good question to, I think, journal on is what does integrity mean to you?
Yeah.
What does what does integrity mean to you? And what does um oh, there was another one, but I lost it. So maybe it'll come back. But I have to say, just looking at this card, and I'm writing this book, and it's called The Golden Thread and the Lineage of the Light. And I basically downloaded this channel
Yes.
book. It is based on some of my own experiences, but it's fiction. And one of the main things of the book is Aisling, who's the main character, receives the golden thread. And when she receives it, she recognizes that it can be used as a light, it can like morph into a sword to cut through the truth.
Mm.
It
Yes.
can be used as like a shield around her body to protect her energy. It can turn into glitter where she's sprinkling it around
Yeah.
And I feel like all of that is at the heart of justice.
Absolutely. I was just thinking the sword cuts through illusions.
Yep.
Because again, which again is like our truth, which we know swords is connected to the beliefs, our mind, our thoughts, our
Yeah.
truth cuts through all illusions.
And the more integrity you can be with your own truth,
Yes.
the easier it is to cut through the illusion of outward. Like
What that means is that you'll
get
be
to
able
the
to
heart
see
of it.
through any
You can
BS.
see you can see the BS from like you can't
Before
help but
even,
see
yeah.
it. You can't help but see. You don't even have to look and you're like,
You
"Oh,
don't.
like you
You
just see
know.
it." And
Yeah.
you can get into that
Yes.
integrity where you share the truth, especially when it's uncomfortable, in a way
Yes.
of being accountable. And so that's the other question. That's the other
Yes.
journal prompt. What does it mean to be accountable for your own actions? Because I think,
Yes.
one of the biggest things about justice is personal accountability.
Absolutely.
That's one of the most important things because that's the only justice we get to really influence, right?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of things on the outside, social injustices and
Yeah.
things that can, we can make an effort, and that's even our own personal accountability and
Yeah.
integrity in making an effort towards that. But ultimately, if everyone chose integrity always, what would the world look like?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not self-interest, not escaping responsibility, but true accountability.
Yes.
Then the karmic scales of justice wouldn't be working so hard because we would be keeping
Yeah.
ourselves balanced.
Exactly. And I'm even thinking about social justice. Like we have people who are this is their path to go out there and fight. But in order for that to be effective, we have to start fighting here
You
to
have to
bring
be
things together.
integrity for yourself,
Yeah, we have
with
to start
yourself,
here. And
with
that's where
our
this
own
card,
personal relationships, the people
yeah,
in our own inner circle, the people we work with, the people we live with, the people we are running into, our neighbors. We have to
exactly.
in accountability for that first,
Yes,
and then we can be able to be,
outward.
yeah, because
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
I think something that sometimes people do is like, oh, I'm gonna go fight that fight,
First, and then,
and
yeah.
it's avoiding the very thing at the
Yeah,
heart of justice, which is your personal accountability.
exactly.
Because really, and this goes back to what we keep saying about tarot, is it's about ourselves. It's
Yes.
about how we are showing up in this world, how we are growing
Yeah,
or morphing or expanding, and how that can imprint other people. Yes.
exactly.
But if you are like on some big social crusade to, eliminate injustice in the world, but then you go home and you're mean to your spouse,
Yeah. Yeah, that is, yeah.
you know what I
That's not going to change anything.
look at how maybe things are unjust in your own, like, and no judgment actually,
Yeah.
because it is actually just that's how we make amends. That's
Yes.
how we that's how we grow. That's how we rebalance. Uh,
Yeah.
who you are today doesn't have to be who you are tomorrow. How you're showing up
Exactly. We
is
get to choose.
you
Yeah.
get to choose. And so if you're someone who's kind of scurried around the truth or kind of hidden behind masks or not wanting to take accountability, it's okay.
Yeah.
It starts with one action, one intention, one desire to write your own, kind of balance your own karmic justice inside yourself. And then as you're doing that, I promise you will be able to see things outside of integrity when you're
Totally.
um, dealing with other kinds of situations. You'll just see
Yeah.
it. And so really just,
It begins with you.
and it's in our bodies. And that's why I think when I was doing the meditation, it led to how does it feel?
Exactly.
Because we
Yeah.
all do actually know what justice feels like.
Totally. Yeah. And
Yeah,
there's no one definition for all. You have your, and I think that going back to what came in through mine, where there's multiple truths that all sum up to the ultimate truth. There's not one, even the ultimate truth has all the pieces in there. It's
yeah,
not becoming something that's like, this is all. It's like
yeah,
showing the mosaic of all the different ones weaving through, all the different colors and
yeah.
textures. It's all in there. So your truth is important, and you need to get in there and be like, this is my truth, and it's okay if that's not your truth.
And you'll know it in
You
your
will.
And you'll
Yeah,
know when you're out of balance
exactly.
because that is like I think it's a gift of the universe that says this isn't in alignment and will
Exactly.
the opportunity to feel
Yeah.
it. And I want to give just one example because we were talking about it before we started, and so I feel like it's relevant.
Yeah.
I was going for a walk around the park, and there yesterday. This just happened yesterday, so it's very and there was a group of boys, they were like teenage boys, and it looked like, and there was like 8 kids. It wasn't a small group. And it looked like they were ganging up on this one kid. And it looked like there was a fight. Like I couldn't tell. And here are like 8 teenage boys and me, and you can't tell, but I'm like 5'2". I'm not like, a big stature. Um, but I saw it and I immediately yelled out to them, "Hey, are you guys seriously fighting?" And I think so often we don't say the thing. And this kind of goes back to like the big social injustices, which I know there's people that are doing such important work out there
Yes.
doing that, but like a lot of times it's just these everyday
The
little
little ones.
of
Yeah.
being brave and making sure someone doesn't feel alone, or being brave and standing up to the bully, that
Yeah.
when you're in a better position to be able to do that.
Yes.
So I just said, "Hey," and is like my mama instinct, I think. I was just like, "Hey, like, are you guys really fighting?" And it broke the pattern, and they all were like, "Oh no." And the kid turned around and it seemed okay. And I like did another walk around. I'm like, "Okay, we'll be nice to each other," is what I said, like such a mom thing to say, but and they kind of even laughed. "Oh yeah, we'll be," like it was kind of cheesy. But I think saying like sometimes people do need us to step in for them.
Yes.
And a lot of times fear will keep us like from doing the right thing. And sometimes maybe it's not safe, but you can always do something
Exactly.
if you
Yeah.
see an injustice in your everyday life. Like if you see it, we have to remind people because that's all I had to do with those kids. Like
Yeah.
whether it was something a little something was going on, I broke the pattern.
Yeah.
And if that one kid was getting bullied, he knew that I at least said so.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I think we have to always sometimes, I don't know, I think what am I trying to say? I just think stand up for each other because then it was just like it reminds each other
Yeah.
um that we're not alone.
We're not alone. Yeah.
It reminds each other like the benefit of of showing up for each other.
Yes.
Like, and it was just a small thing. I mean, it wasn't, but I think so many people would have just ignored it
Walked by and ignored. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
not even said anything. And it ended up being fine. I really think they were just like,
Fooling around.
yeah,
Yeah.
but even if they were fooling around and getting a little rough, at least it
Yeah.
was like that pattern interrupt and it let them. And
Exactly.
so sometimes it doesn't take a lot to do the right thing for someone else. And in a world that is filled with self-service and people who are just so detached from everyday life, we're all just plugged into our own algorithms,
Yeah.
literally, figuratively, like it's just what do you want? How do we want our communities to feel? How do we want the
Yeah.
people in our communities to feel? And are we doing the things when they pop up to make sure that those conditions are being nurtured? So
Yeah.
just wanted to share
You know
that.
what I'm thinking? I think this is going to be one of those sessions where we just focus on one card because there's so
Justice
much coming through with
for,
the
and
justice.
we haven't even gotten to the hangman.
Yeah, and I feel like we
Already
wouldn't
up.
be able to even do the hangman
Yeah,
justice with hangman justice,
true.
which has its own deep,
Yeah, and
deep
there's
so
so many layers to the hangman too.
yeah,
And it's almost, to be honest with you, they kind of don't.
fit together like the other ones.
It's really hard to yeah, like and I think justice wants its own hour.
It
Like,
really, again, it reminds me of Lady Liberty. Like I really, I want you. Maybe this is one of the invitations I'm gonna give you. You know, look at the symbol of Lady Liberty or Athena. Again, I don't know why Athena is coming through. If you get like a little hit, if this was for you and like, oh yeah, I know, please share with us. But look at Athena, listen to her story, and also Lady Liberty. Get a picture, look at it, and see what does that invoke within you or evoke within you? Because what does that bring out within you? What does she stare within you? Pay attention to that. But those are two powerful symbols that are coming in. Like, especially Lady, I mean, both of them are women, which is interesting, where this card is showing clearly a masculine figure. And what I'm getting is like feminine figures, very powerful ones too. So yeah, I invite you to look at those two and see what they evoke within you, what they bring out of you. Yeah.
I think probably why justice wants to take up so much space is because we are feeling a lot of injustice right
Yes, there's
now.
so much going on in the world.
And I think this
Yes.
is like the most important thing. Like, we shared those little things about like maybe standing up for someone or something
Yeah,
like that. But the biggest point here is finding justice inside yourself first.
absolutely.
Really anchoring into your own integrity. Integrity is such a like it's kind of been the word of the year for me is
Yeah,
integrity. Because it kind of says sums up the idea of justice to me
yeah,
because when we're moving with integrity, we're not just considering ourselves, we're considering all of the pieces in the dynamic, right?
yeah,
When we're showing up with integrity, we're also it's not only about like honesty, like truth and not true or something like that. It's also about like our presence and what we're
yeah,
bringing. It's about, um, kind of what's coming. Another thing that's coming through for me with integrity is like the quality of what we're bringing. And so I really want to encourage everyone who's listening to this to anchor into their own energy of justice.
yes,
And because, you know, that's what creates the biggest shift and change
yes.
is what we do in our own life. And there's a lot that can feel so out of our hand, like it's
Control and
out of
yeah,
our control and it can feel heartbreaking. Like Abigail and I are both empaths, so we really feel it, but we also protect our energy from it because it could
yes.
swallow us whole. Like literally, if we that's why we're not out there fighting
Yeah,
the
that's not our job.
we wouldn't be able to like I don't we would I mean not that we couldn't, but it would take such an energy to protect our energy from like the negative forces. And so that's why we are here fighting it to bring justice inside of you
Yeah.
because that's why we know we'll have the biggest ripple. And another thing that I think is so important is there can be injustices. People can do things that are unjust to us or to someone we love
Yeah.
or um, you know, but healing from that is actually coming to justice with ourselves. Like all of it
Mm,
is like justice is healing too for us. Because first of all, we know that like the karmic scales,
yeah.
like regardless of if it's like this life or another there's gonna be a reckoning for it. There will be a reckoning if you and so you can be intentional about approaching it if you have done something wrong, or you can wait for the
Yeah.
universe to come
To
around
balance it.
and give you the verdict. You get to decide.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it was
Yeah.
something else that's coming in and it just kind of lost me, but um I've had situations where I felt like we're really unjust.
Mm.
Um and it was really hard for me to kind of move past it because
Yeah.
I want things to feel fair and
Yeah.
right, you know? Um, but I have also taken a lot of relief in the idea that justice doesn't always show up visibly,
Yes.
okay? And so you might see someone, here's kind of another angle. You never know what someone else is going through.
Exactly. Yeah, we're just talking about that too.
You never know what someone else is going through.
Yeah.
They can seem like they're fine and seem even happy but you don't know what they're struggling with or battling with. And so don't just because justice isn't always visible to us. We don't always get to see the verdict, but it is always in motion. Like it's the
Yeah.
scales. That's why the scales are there, is to show us that the
Mm.
balancing of justice is part of the karmic cycle. Like it's kind of like the yin and the yang. Like it keeps things in balance.
Yeah.
Um, and so I
I'm
think
like looking at the red and the red is connected to the masculine energy, but what came through is that justice has a lot to do with our choices and
mhm,
our actions, what
that's
we
it.
choose to do.
Yep.
It has a lot to do with that. And, like you're being asked to move from a place of integrity. We're going to keep talking about integrity. That integrity within yourself, moving from there, taking action from there, choosing from there.
Yeah.
Like that is what this card is really driving you to.
I- I've gotten to this point in my own integrity, kind of similar to you. I don't know if I
Yeah.
have the same karmic luck, but I've gotten to this place where I have gotten so comfortable with the uncomfortable truth sometimes,
Yes. Yes.
that it's like I can't help but to lay it out.
Yeah. It
I
is
can't,
such a big fresh air for me to come in contact with someone who just, because then I don't have to guess. I don't
yeah.
have to wonder. I'm like, this is what it is. It
Then
is
you just
such a
and then you
breath of
let
fresh
the
air.
other person decide what to do with it. And
Yep.
that's a lot of times why people kind of skirt around it because they want to manipulate or contort the outcome from someone else, but you're taking away someone else's free will, basically,
That's
because you're not
interesting.
giving them
Yeah.
all of the information to be able to choose for themselves.
Yes.
And I think there's something so liberating in being able to lay it all
Liberating. I
out
like that.
and then trust that the other person is going to make the choice for
Yeah.
themselves that's best for them and that you're going to be okay no matter what the outcome is. That's a hard,
Mm.
it's a lot of surrender and trust, but
It
it is
is.
liberating. It is liberating. It takes out like the like God complex. Like
It
you
really
don't get
does.
to like contort someone else's choice because
Yeah.
you're withholding information or being out of integrity with what you're doing. And so it just kind of takes it off your plate because here's the truth, we all make mistakes, we all do
We
things.
all do.
We all have to
Yeah.
apologize sometimes. We all have to, be like, hey,
Yeah.
and getting in the practice of doing that swiftly it's like, it just makes you lighter. You don't feel
It
so heavy.
really does.
Because
Yeah.
I know that if I have something on my mind that I have kind of like some judgment about myself, because you will carry around that
Yeah.
self-judgment, which will weigh on your body. it will weigh on your mind, it will weigh on your spirit when you don't lay it out. So someone else, whatever it is, and it might be something small, it might be something big, something you
Yes.
need. But when we can all, I mean, what would the world look like if people couldn't lie?
Have you guys watched Yes Man with
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, where
Yeah.
he couldn't lie? Oh no, that Yes Man. No, it's Liar.
Oh,
It,
oh
the
yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Remember that his
Liar,
child
liar.
made yes, his child made
Yes,
a
he
wish and he
couldn't
couldn't
lie,
lie
and he was
anymore.
an attorney, and he was like some scandalous. Yes,
That's a funny one. But even Yes Man, because he couldn't say no. And so he
right.
had to say yes to everything.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it reminded me of Jim Carrey and
yes. Liar,
his
liar.
movies.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's true though, and I've thought about this question is how would the world, I mean, for me, it would be a relief.
Mm,
I love having all the information. Like
yeah,
that's what feels just to me is getting to have all the information and being able to make an informed decision.
yeah,
And I'm not someone who contorts the truth to try to
exactly.
manipulate. So, but if people couldn't do that, oh my gosh, the world would look a lot different. It'd be a
It
lot.
would be very different because then we couldn't, I mean, this is the most important part. We could not lie to ourselves, let alone to others. And I think if we are able to show up in a place where we are truthful to our own selves, like that's the core. It's like
That's
start
freedom.
there.
That's
Start
freedom.
there. Like ask yourself, where have I been lying to myself? And why do I do that? What am I hiding from? What am I afraid of? Because when we do that, it's usually because we're not ready to really receive the truth. Or we've forgotten and now we've created a monster out of the truth. And so now
It's
we're really afraid of something that might be tiny that you've forgotten about, right? So just
yeah,
being with yourself, asking those questions. Why am I afraid to tell the truth about this? What is the issue there? What is the why? Just ask it and get into it.
it's like what you
Dive
were saying
in.
about
Yeah.
accountability and action.
Yes.
A lot of times when we aren't willing to face the truth,
Yeah.
it's because we are being asked to make a choice.
Ah,
And so not facing the truth, it prolongs it
yeah.
or it delays it, or we don't have to be confronted with it. And I know how hard it can be to make a hard choice.
Yes.
Because that's the other way that I think we kind of lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, everything's fine. I don't, and you're really just delaying your like the discomfort in it if you aren't willing to get to the heart of the situation. Like, oh, you're I mean, there's different circumstances that can maybe where we maybe aren't willing to look at the honest truth that's in front
Yeah.
of us. And it's easy to do. It's easy to not want to have to deal with, but
Yeah.
it's just going to linger there until you are willing to look at it. And so it's
Yeah.
delaying the discomfort of it.
Yeah.
And then another thing you said is the truth within ourselves. That's the place you have to start.
Absolutely.
And there might be, when you start going down this road, there might be conversations to have, or rights to wrongs to right, or whatever it
Yes.
is.
Yes.
But really, some of the most so the ways I've seen people really get kind of distorted in this is when they've been shifting the truth for so long that they have lost truth with themselves.
Yeah.
And that it's torment. I've seen people be tormented over it. It leads to illness in our bodies. Like there's all kinds of things because it's a heavy weight,
It really is. Yeah.
And the truth,
Unless you're a psychopath, then no, it's not.
true.
That popped in. I was like, they feel light. They don't care. It does not weigh on them like any good human being. So
Yeah.
unless there is weight to it. Like this is
Probably
every
not a lot
choice
of
we make has a
psychopaths
weight to it.
watching,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
you never know. But if you are, then I don't know.
Then
But
this is not for you.
if you are, then try to tell the truth for once.
Well, if you are and you show up here, I mean, we
If you
just
are and you're
invoked.
showing up here, then
That's something because even
it's
to
a
be drawn
start.
to this, yeah,
You're
yeah,
doing the self like inquiry. And
yeah,
that's, I think, like a lot of um mental illness, personality disorders are, the heart of it is being so detached from ourselves.
yeah. It's protective mechanism. Oh my gosh, don't get us started on that.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing we can dive into. But that has nothing to do with justice, by the way. So
Yeah.
if you're going through something like that, no, that's not justice stuff. That's a whole ball game,
But you know what? It
healing
does bring
work.
up a good
Yeah.
point if you're dealing with someone like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And your truth might have to be leaving a really challenging situation.
Yes.
You're not wanting to confront.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to what I was saying about sometimes we kind of don't aren't honest with ourselves because we don't want to confront something.
Yes.
And so that would be an example, that this
Yeah.
person isn't, capable of, you know, holding integrity. And so I have
Yeah.
to make this hard decision. So, yes.
Yeah.
Wow, there's a lot. There's a
This,
lot there's a lot of energy around justice. And I
yes.
think we all feel some injustice in the world right now.
Yeah.
And my remedy and suggestion is to start in your own house and your own
Hmm.
neighborhood and how you're showing up and mostly in yourself.
In yourself, number
And
one.
how you're showing up. I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, yes, we have to be honest with ourselves, but we also have to be honest about how we're showing up in this world.
Yeah. I
And
think if you are honest with yourself, you can't help but
yeah,
reflect that honesty out. So
you'll
that part becomes
self-reflect and
easier.
those balancing
Yeah.
skills will
Exactly.
they'll kind of catch you and you'll be
Exactly.
to like, even like as a mom, sometimes I'm like, oh darn it,
Yeah.
shouldn't have responded that way. And then I have
Yeah.
to go and like apologize.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
so this isn't about being perfect or getting it
No.
right every time. It's about always kind of being reflective and aware of our imprint on ourselves, our how we're, how this is affecting us and how it's affecting those around us.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the heart of justice. If everyone did that with a reverence, then
Reverence. Yeah.
it'd be a different level of community.
Absolutely. So let's all take a deep breath in and just allow whatever it is that you got from this conversation to just anchor
Yeah, it's a
and
heavy
root.
conversation.
It is. Yeah. And each of you will, there's a nugget in there that was just for you. Not all of this is going to resonate with you, and that is okay. Absolutely okay.
And
Just
maybe
take what
bring
you need.
it to your next dinner party conversation and ask,
Exactly.
what does justice mean to you? How are you
Yes.
showing up in integrity or journal prompts? How are you showing up in integrity? What
Yeah.
does integrity mean to you? What does justice mean to you? Where in your life are you not being honest with
Big
yourself?
one. Yeah. And be please, as you're moving through this contemplative journey, have grace, have compassion for yourself. Because
Yeah,
as you're looking at the truth of something, it's not always easy. We know this. That's why you've been hiding from it. So have compassion for yourself and know that, like, feel whatever needs to come through and seek the help that you need.
call
Seek
in the
the,
support, the
yeah, the support.
support that you need. There's a lot of justice in being able to
Yes.
do that too.
Yeah.
Um, and this does feel heavier conversation, but actually what's really, really cool about justice is once you're kind of tuned in to the integrity of it, it is lighter and it makes our lives easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I would not want to go.
Yeah.
I can't even. The more you do it, the easier it gets, and it just becomes you. It's you.
You sleep good at night. You don't have a
Yeah.
conscience, weighted conscience that you're carrying around. You know what it is. Everyone else
Yep.
knows what it is. And it gives people free will and opportunity to have a conversation or represent themselves or choose. Um,
Liberation. I love that that word has been coming through a lot. Justice bringing through liberation. Our truth liberates us
and others.
and others. Ooh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, well, this
Ooh,
is such a good one. Thank you all for joining us. As always, if this resonates with you, please share it with someone you might think needs to hear it.
yes,
Join in the conversation. What's your experience with justice?
yeah,
Um, do you have, is there an encounter that made you think of this, or have you worked with tarot and pulled justice and then kind of had this opportunity to reflect? I think that's the biggest thing for us is when we're dealing with these cards,
yeah.
it's always a lot of self-awareness and reflection.
Exactly.
That's what we're
Yes,
inviting you into too, because the better we know thyself, the more like just the stronger our going back to my golden thread analogy, the stronger our sword to cut through the
yes,
or our bubble to protect our energy or our glitter to like that's
yes,
here to spread and share and help you connect with because it's been such a important part of our own journey. So
yeah. Oh,
super
and
excited.
then
Next week,
next
well,
week,
it'll be the hangman and maybe something else we'll have to
some
see.
yeah, we'll see what it will be interesting to see what the hangman pairs
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Yeah, and how that goes. But we're excited to
It'll be
bring it through.
interesting if it like balances out.
Exactly.
Okay.
I love
Well,
it. All
thank you.
right, my dears.
Okay, bye.
Bye.